Hello, and welcome to another episode of Improperly Packaged, a show where we unbox topics related to movies, TV, games, whatever. I'm Jordan. With me is Luke. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jordan?
Doing pretty good. I'm feeling it. And welcome to a spooky episode.
Spooktacular.
Improper. I don't know. We're not doing a Halloween theme today, but I don't know.
We're not exactly the most Halloween-esque humans.
It's not very festive in here. I'm watching a lot of Halloween stuff, but what am I
Yeah,
doing other than that?
yeah.
The answer's nothing. Really nothing.
Talking like this.
Ooh, like at my work they do a Halloween thing like every year.
hmm
But man, this year is like nobody is
Like
really.
decorate or dress
Yeah,
up, everything.
like each department of the office has like a contest. Like each department will be a different theme, and then they'll go around and judge.
Hmm.
Usually we're working on it like weeks leading up to it, and now it's like the week of, and people literally turned around where it was like, "Are we doing anything this year?" And
Yeah.
everyone was like, kind of shrugged and
Hoping we keep our jobs.
yeah, right, hoping the
Ugh.
economy doesn't crash. Yeah, I mean that's where we're at, but yeah, I'm not feeling it that much this year. Other than watching movies, Halloween movies, that's as Halloween as I get. I'm not going
Yep.
to any. I don't have a costume to speak of. It's whatever.
Halloween movies like, Temple of Doom, all the classics.
Oh yeah, we'll talk all about it. What have you been up to this week, man? So
um,
far, it's like one day into the week. I don't know when
yeah.
even.
Um, you know, Working and side hustling and paying down debt and investing and living my best life.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't record very late into the week. A little behind baseball here. Inside
Yeah.
baseball. That's what it's. I don't know
Oh,
anything. Yeah.
it
Um.
is baseball time.
Oh, it is.
It's
That's right.
October.
You enjoying that?
Oh yeah. That's something I never mentioned.
How
But
much you're enjoying baseball?
like during the whole corona thing and so many things got shut down. I mean, there's kind of like the evolution of the corona shutdown,
Oh yeah.
We're definitely late stage on that at this point. But it's like at the beginning, I feel like everywhere in the country like really felt it, and it was just like completely shut down. And I mean, I'm sure everyone in the world was in that place for a while. And then like there was no sports at all. Basketball, like I missed March Madness. But then like baseball came back, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling it as much. And then the postseason came back, and I've been really watching that. And
Oh,
my poor Braves lost to the Dodgers, but
it's rough.
been enjoying watching Tampa Bay playing the Dodgers in the World Series, and it's been a really good series. There's been some good games, been some frustrating games, but overall, just good baseball. So,
No
of
teams
course,
getting.
football's back, so that's good
Yeah.
too.
Our college team here in Florida, they got doesn't like all of them
Yeah,
catch the thing?
I don't know. I guess a lot of people did. And I thought it was just staff, but probably some of the players did as well.
It's like
So they
football.
they've been on a 2 week hiatus, but they're supposed to play next weekend. So
It's football way more than baseball. Because baseball, it's like everyone kind of already is social distance for the most part until they're not.
yeah,
But
for the most part,
freaking football,
they
everyone
come
just
crashing into the catcher at home plate.
boom constantly
Yeah, for sure.
smashing into each
It,
other's
it doesn't
faces.
really seem like I've heard anybody actually getting it like from field contact.
Hmm.
It seems like a lot of it's just like staff members and stuff. They go to the wrong steakhouse or something.
Going out partying during the off time. I don't
But I
know.
will say, it seems like for the most part, it is pretty rare that I hear of a bad case. So I don't know.
That's good.
Seems like it's not too bad.
What I wonder what like the have like any sports games like our sports teams or whatever not been affected like at all, like tennis. You wouldn't think.
Golf, yeah.
Golf. I
Golf
remember
golf's probably the least affected.
the biggest thing. I remember it was like one of the first times we actually went out to a restaurant um a few months ago, and I remember the TV was on, and it was ESPN, just regular ESPN, not ESPN 2, 3, and none of that. And bowling was on
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yep.
vanilla. That's
Yeah.
when that was when you're like, oh shoot.
Cornhole made a big resurgence in that time. It was like one of the first things I saw a live event with like people standing around was cornhole.
Oh my gosh. That's
You
excellent.
gots to have our cornhole.
I
We
wonder if
gots
like
to.
because of just the lack of so many other sports, maybe like people
Yeah,
legit
I
got
think
into
that's
those.
exactly
They're
it.
like, what have I been missing? This cornhole is awesome. Can't
Did
help but
you
wonder.
see the way he threw that bag of corn?
I know people are like,
It was
oh,
exhilarating.
I don't know.
He threw it through the hole. Yes.
Oh my god. Maybe
What drama?
esports, I don't know, that kind of stuff. I mean, for sure. But
Yeah.
anyways, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about what we've been watching slash playing slash
Slash listening to.
all right. So I think you went last week. So this
Yeah.
week, I'll go ahead and we can talk about some music.
Hit me with it.
Yeah. So well, a band this isn't anything new for me, but it's a band I have not yet mentioned on the show that I have some affinity for. It's rough to say band. He's more of like a solo artist, but it's the name Sleeping at Last. You heard of this?
I have.
It is it goes along like with William Fitzsimmons and all the bands that my wife just does not like when I start playing because it's very mellow, like extremely mellow,
It
and
is.
just his voice is very whimsical and just very light. But I think he is pretty genius as far as like what he does. He has just the fact that he does so much, and he has so much content. It's like crazy. So it's easy to be overwhelmed, when someone recommends a band to you or an artist, and you're like, oh, which freaking album should I start with? Oh, he's released 3 in 1 year. Oh, here's an album and it has like 25
Crazy.
songs on it. He has a lot of content, but
He's got a Christmas album.
He's got a Christmas album. It's a pretty solid Christmas album. What a good jumping in point, I think, with Sleeping at Last is the album Yearbook. It's a long album, but I think it encapsulates him pretty well. So if you're in the mood, maybe you're cleaning or something where you feel like just chilling out, you're sitting down, having a cup of coffee, drinking a glass of wine, check out the Yearbook album by Sleeping at Last. What are you listening to, man?
Guy's good. Yeah, I'm listening to him.
Yeah.
Well picked. He does have so much.
So much.
A couple things. 2 things that I think you would definitely be interested in. One that I think you'll enjoy, but I don't know, maybe a little less. I don't know. You pretty much like everything I like. There's a couple songs that they were on a playlist that I had, but I hadn't listened to much of it. And I got down to them and I'm like, oh man, song freaking rocks. It's called Red Earth and Pouring Rain by Bear's Den.
Bear's Den.
And I'm sure more of their album and music is good, but that song really enjoy. Very like, I don't even know what to call this kind of like, we always say it's 80s sounding, but you go back and listen to 80s music, it really is not quite.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's rooted in that element, but modern, like, whatever you want to call it, throwback Jordan and Luke's childhood rock music really is like very evolved. It's very more electronic.
Okay. Sorry, I don't have it in my ears. I'm kind of. Don't copyright us. All right, I
you can't play it on the computer like you used to be able to.
No, because like on OBS, it's like the desktop audio is what's picking up your thing from
Gotcha.
from,
so it would be mixed
Zoom.
in.
Exactly, and then we totally would get copyrighted.
We'd have way too good of a show then.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways I can like separate it off, but I haven't been bothered to do that yet. So, but yeah, I'll give that a listen. So far from the first 15 seconds of it, I've heard.
Yeah, you will definitely enjoy it. I know for sure. It's very is it Night Rider? That's not the name. What's the name of the band? Night
Traveler.
something? Night Traveler.
Yeah.
he rides into his travels. Um, so the other one is When I Get My Hands on You, the new Basement Tapes, the name of the band.
What?
And that's a very mellow song, but it's just, I don't know, got this sweet, like, kind of jazzy, slow beat to it.
I had no idea it was the new
Guy's like,
Basement Tapes. I thought you were saying like, oh, it's that new, the new Basement Tapes
you know,
song. No, the name is the
you know,
new Basement Tapes.
I picked up some new Basement Tapes, and the song "When I Get My Hands on You" was there. Perfect.
Let me see.
So
Oh,
yeah, I think you'll definitely enjoy them as well.
they're pretty
And
popular.
yeah, my final one is, this is one of those ones I'm just a little embarrassed. I found it because I was watching a TikTok video.
Uh,
I was like,
oh,
"Oh, that
stop.
song is
It's
so good."
fine. There's some fun TikTok videos.
So this guy Tommy Tommy, I don't know. It's TOMMEE PROFITT. I'm gonna just turn it American and say Tommy Profit.
Tommy Profit.
It's probably Tommy Profit or something like that. He does a cover of "In the End," but I think obviously by the number of streams, everyone agrees that the Milan G remix, the better version.
Huh.
So it's "In the End" by Linkin Park, but it's not really "In the End." It's really like they take pieces of the song and like mix them into their own song.
Which
It's like
version?
none of the like rap is in there, none of the like verses.
Okay.
It's really just the chorus, but like mixed with like a dance track. And yeah, I don't know. It's a cool take. It's like very mellow, like, I don't know, like, yeah, this is not doing it justice. Just listen to it.
A little.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's
But it's
exactly
this
what it
cool,
sounds like.
Like, yeah, it's this cool, like, dancey, mellow cover. Yeah, and the remix, it improves it. I enjoy the original, but it's like sometimes people make a song, and it's amazing how the person who remixes it can really just, I don't know, take what they did and say, you were close. Like, you made a good song, but you should have made it like this. Like, there's that remix that plays on the radio right now that just like everyone agrees is so much better. You don't listen to the radio, so you won't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm old.
But yeah, there's this dance track that it's Roses. That's what it is, by St. John. You'd probably recognize it. But there's a remix, and it's just like they took like a pretty good song and made it like an actually like really great song, and it got played in the radio. And like the remix has like a billion streams versus like the original has like 100,000 or something.
Oh, it's the Chainsmokers is the.
It's St. John, JHN.
Oh, okay, I got pulled
His
up.
song Roses. So the original has 74 million plays, and the remix has 997 million plays.
Which original is it? The one by Outkast or which one? What's
There's no Outkast.
Oh, you mean the original? Okay, so because it was a remix.
The original song Roses by St. John.
Gotcha. His
has 74 million plays. But yeah, the Imenbeck, however you say that, Imenbeck remix has 997 million plays. It's crazy. But you can tell when you listen to the song, it's like, yeah, that should have been sped up just like they did.
It's like the Fiesta remix. Everyone remembers the remix, but not the original Fiesta.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, this is the remix to Ignition?
Yeah.
This is fresh and hot out the kitchen? I didn't know that.
The more well-known version.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so the remix is pretty dope.
You give me a lot to chew on, and I will chew on it.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy that.
All right, awesome. Watching / playing, it's more Halloween stuff, right? I mean, you and I, we got some friends together actually. We watched Temple of Doom, so that was fun.
We did.
We had a fun time, kind of just like
we went to the temple.
Out. Yeah, that is one of the more, I don't think it's the best one, but it's one of the more entertaining ones, I think. Because it's just
universally accepted it's not the best one.
No, but it's very entertaining. Really, there's not a lot of...
It's my favorite trilogy by far, so you'll find no argument here.
There's not a lot of, because in both Raiders and definitely The Last Crusade. There's a lot of like figuring stuff out and uncovering things. Oh, we got to go here. Oh,
Yeah.
what does this mean? Oh, we got to go here. This is
It's a
very
much
much,
bigger things with a lot more moving parts,
yeah, where Temple of Doom's very
especially The
much,
Last Crusade. It's
oh yeah, here's this one group of people who are doing, yeah, there's a lot of
they're
stuff going
taking
on.
plane rides. They're doing all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
There's only one location in Temple of Doom, and it's just, here we go. I mean, this is, everyone knows this movie, but
Except the beginning, yeah. But yeah, pretty much.
yeah, I mean, obviously the movie that spawned, well, partly responsible for spawning the PG-13 rating.
Yeah, such a weird thing.
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
violent movie, for
it's
sure.
very violent. Holy crap. It's just that, I mean, it's not only that one scene, you know, where he rips the heart out. That scene is insanely violent for a PG movie. But when he's like ripping it out and he's it's just crazy how intense it is.
It's definitely what that movie's known for.
And the heart gets set on fire and he's
Yeah.
like it's
gosh.
insane. But like even like the aspect of like when Indiana is putting Willie into the cage and he's evil, that's scary, man. And he's like touching her and he's like, help us, and you're like, oh my god, this is just upsetting. So happy Halloween. Other than that, I watched me and Amber have been watching some of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Those are pretty good.
You finish your Scream watching?
We finished Scream. Just to wrap that up, I did want to comment on that. I kind of forgot because it's been a while. We watched Scream 4, which is, you know, the one I didn't talk about. That one's good. I think it's probably the second best one, I think. The acting's
First one being the best.
First one's the best. It's the most classic, and just, you know, it has an interesting mystery. But the fourth one, it's good. I mean, it has some. It's entertaining. Some of the characters are really good. It made me kind of realize something. I was like, Hayden Panettiere, she's pretty good. She's a good actor, and she doesn't really appear in that much stuff anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
she had her moment and kind of just faded away a little bit. I know she's in some
After
television.
Heroes, she really faded.
Yeah, Heroes didn't really do her justice, but it's like you watch her in a movie like this where, you know, Scream isn't known for having a bunch of amazing actors. I mean, it had Liv Schreiber in a few of them, and like Nev Campbell's okay, and, you know, the Arquettes are fine, but, you know, when you have a decent actor in one of them, they really rise above. And so I was like, man, Hayden Panettiere, she I think, you know, she's a little bit
What year did that
underappreciated.
movie come out?
2011.
Okay.
Did you like that? Like I was able to whip that out so quickly because I remember talking about
Was
it.
Heroes was still on TV then?
I think it was right at its like
Right around the end.
right when it, you know, I mean, it was going down the
Yeah.
toilet pretty quickly and right after the first season, in my opinion. But it was at the point where it was like in the sewage tank, you know, where it was like it was just dwindling way to nothing at that point. God, Heroes, what a disappointment. Sorry. Got to go and bring
The
Heroes
first
up.
season, it was like the epitome of like the perfect way to just like get a bunch of people to watch a show.
Oh my God, the
It
first
was like,
season.
oh, this is so cool.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is awesome. I can't wait to see what they do next. Huh?
Oh, they don't have anything else.
Oh, this is very bad. I see. But yeah, we're watching Nightmare now. I don't think we're gonna get through all of them this Halloween, but we've watched 1, 2, and 3, and I think we'll probably move on and maybe come back to it next Halloween because there's 7 of them, not including Freddy vs. Jason or the terrible reboot or whatever remake that failed. Entertaining movies. I can't say any of them scare me like at all because it's just, you know, even when like the first 2 are probably the most serious, but even then it's like not that serious. And then when the third one happens, oh boy, it is.
Yeah.
Freddy is spitting out one-liners left and right, you know. I mean, he's not quite killing people with the Nintendo Power Glove yet, but he's getting
He's a
there.
very hard character to script in a serious way.
Yeah, I mean, from 3 on, he becomes a straight up jokester for sure. But
Yeah.
not that he was completely serious in the first 2, but oh man.
Honestly, I think the first time I ever saw him was in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah,
Because I never grew up watching those when I was younger.
I'd say that's a appropriate representation of what Freddy is. I mean, all the jokes and
ridiculous.
how he appears in that movie is how he appears in most of the
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street movies. That's him, which is cool. That's cool that they did that, and actually, like, it's so rare, right? When you get a crossover like that from two separate
Yeah.
franchises. Anyways, but yeah, fun
There's
movies.
probably a reason. I don't think it works that often.
No, yeah. Other than that, I told you a little bit about this when we were hanging out, Luke, but we watched Leprechaun in the Hood, specifically Leprechaun in the Hood.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean,
We did talk about that.
what do you say about Leprechaun in the Hood? I mean, it's the 5th movie in the franchise. The 5th one. In a very silly already franchise that's never scary, but always ridiculous.
I mean, from the beginning, these movies are ridiculous, right?
From the beginning, there was never like, oh, it started off really
That was the
grounded and
one.
serious. No, no.
Not like Fast and the Furious, where it's like they actually kind of took it seriously in the first one,
Yeah, no way.
and now they're like gonna go to the moon or something.
I mean, what can you do? It was Leprechaun from the start, so it's like you can't run from yourself, is what you say. And so they embraced it a little bit more as they went on, but I don't know. It is exactly what it sounds like. You got Ice-T, you got Coolio in there, you got scenes where Leprechaun's toking on a joint. He raps at one point in the movie. There's like a full rap scene.
Oh my!
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, man. It's some wild stuff.
Wow.
It's okay. Anyways.
Well worth a watch, huh?
Yeah. I highly recommend. If you're gonna watch I will say, if you're gonna watch a Leprechaun movie, I will say, hey, if you want to know what Leprechaun's about, it doesn't matter which one you watch. It really doesn't. It's like, it's very much, oh, Leprechaun blew up in the last one, but here he is. In this one, there's not a single character that's referenced or single event that's referenced from one of the last ones.
Basically, Michael just always comes back.
Yeah, he always comes back. None of the other characters do, ever. It's not like even Nightmare on Elm Street, you have a few returning characters every now and then. You're referencing some stuff that happened, but this, nah, forget about it. The bar of entry is as low as you want to go, I guess. If you do want to go.
Yeah.
Not much other than that. I mean, we're still watching Halloween stuff. Me and Amber are actually in the middle of a movie right now. We'll probably finish it after this. Is Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You've seen that
That's
one?
a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, Mel Brooks.
Yeah. I think I've only seen it one time, but yeah,
it's a good one. I'm impressed with how faithfully they recreate like a 30s style movie. It's pretty awesome.
Mhm.
And some of those jokes are really cheesy, but you know what? Like, I love almost every single one of them because of the performances. Gene Wilder is just so funny.
Yeah.
You can't help it. Even if it's something that's like if it was said by someone else, you'd be like, ugh, how cliche. But if he's saying it, you're just laughing.
He's just a unique guy.
Yep. But just waiting for next gen, man. I'm playing Switch mainly because like something about it. Again, I'm like, I'm playing, like, looking at like Xbox or PS4. I'm just like, I'll get the new one soon. So it's like, I don't know, something about it. I'm less driven. Like, there's a bit of it. I'm like, man, I wish this was in the new console. So I'm playing Switch. I'm playing Pokemon right now. The DLC came out. I don't really have much to say about it.
It's funny. I'm a little bit the opposite, where I'm like, oh, I need to like play some stuff before I get the new thing, and I move on to the next game.
You're saying goodbye?
I guess so.
Yeah, it's very sad.
The nice thing is, though, it's not really like you have to say goodbye to your games, because for the most part, like even both systems, it seems like everything's, for the most part, like I said, gonna work. So
It's like sometimes you feel like you have unfinished business, I
pick
guess.
up the better version.
Yeah.
Start playing.
There were a few games I felt like months ago I felt like I had to really get through. We talked about it, like Horizon Zero Dawn. We're like, this is some unfinished business in this generation. I need to finish this. But anyways, yeah. How about you,
It
man?
doesn't feel as much of a jump though this time. It's more like a step into the next console. It's
especially since you're taking a lot of this
step up.
stuff with you. You know, it's not like, oh, there goes all those games. No, it's like, oh, hey, they're right here.
I do wonder, like the saves and everything, how fluid that's going to be. I mean, I've only heard of like a couple things. Like I know Spider-Man, there's a big thing about your save not transferring over, but for the most part, I haven't heard anybody saying that like like the game I'm about to talk about, Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are like, everything's going to transfer, right?
Yeah.
Because I spent 4 billion hours on that game.
From what I hear, unless like the only time it's brought into question is if there is a specific next gen like remaster or version of the game. That's the
Yeah.
that's when it's like, oh, there's a question of cross saves, but
Yeah.
everything else should slide right over. Slide on over.
Yeah. Well, it's a big deal if it doesn't.
Yes.
Especially, I mean, some of those games, like we're saying, like any Rockstar game, it's going to be just huge if you can't transfer. GTA 5.
No Man's
These are
Sky?
games you spend.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No Man's Sky.
Oops.
But that game almost, it feels more like a game as a service kind of game. It feels like you're playing in the cloud when you're playing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just the
it
way I feel
does.
when I'm playing it.
But if all my things disappeared, I'd be very upset. All my exotic ship. Oh my god.
Yeah. I guess it just feels like everything's saved. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive.
I think it is. I think it will. I think we'll be fine in most departments. I think there'll be a few instances of what, but
I think I'm just used to everything being in the cloud. So if a game doesn't do it, it's going to be like heartbreaking.
yeah,
But do you get the same feeling when you go into like a Rockstar game? It's like you feel like you're detaching from the internet. It's like, okay, I'm going into this set piece world. I'm no longer a part of the internet world. I'm in the Rockstar world.
I mean
whether
they
it's
really
GTA
make you
5
feel
or,
that way too. Just
yeah,
within the game, it's just like, are you playing online or not? Okay,
yeah,
not
yeah,
buy online. Yeah, they very much
yeah.
make you feel that way.
It's like everything's saved, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just roll into it. Yeah, I've been playing Red Dead 2 Redemption 2 some more, and as I say, every time I get in there, I feel like I'm getting close.
Yeah. You
Um,
are though. You actually are this time though.
and
For real.
I've made a lot of progress since we even talked. So
Oh, great.
I've done a bunch more missions, and
What are you
yeah,
doing?
it's
Just
like,
talk about it. This
come
game,
on.
like right now, this game's like 2 years old. So you
Yeah.
can go ahead and
I was just reading this crazy thing when I was searching Red Dead Redemption 2. It like brought up some news stories, and 5 hours ago, LAD Bible, I don't know, it's some, I guess it's a gamer publication or something.
Mhm.
They said this 65-year-old RDR2 player has beaten the game more than 30 times. And being that I'm neck deep in this game right now, that is blowing my mind because it feels like this game is never ending.
I think Redemption 2 is really amazing. It's great, but here's my question. Why? Why would you?
Yeah,
I don't know. That's
that is
weird.
the question.
That is it's his
He's
only game,
the
yeah.
picture they have of him is he's in the full hoodie with like Arthur shooting the gun.
Huh, okay.
Yeah. He plays Red Dead Redemption 2 story mode for hours every day.
Fine.
Crazy. Well, glad he enjoys it.
Yep.
So yeah, just plucking away at it. It's a great game. I'm just kind of ready for it to be wrapped up at this
Mhm.
point though. So
You're at the epilogue. What's happening?
oh yeah. So the epilogue 2 I just had that splash screen. It's like epilogue whatever chapter 2. And John, big spoiler, but
Yeah, whatever.
John, no longer Arthur. John bought that piece of property. He's there with the cook. I can't remember. Uncle, name Uncle.
Yep.
Uncle showed up and is being a bum and just told me he got drunk the night before and he's not helping me clean up. So I'm working on my new ranch, trying to get it ready to hopefully win Abigail back.
Yeah.
It sounds so dorky as I'm saying it, but
No,
that's where I'm at.
I like this part of the game. I'm not gonna lie. There's something weird
Yeah.
and relaxing about it where I was just like, you know what? This is cool. Just chilling with these guys. It's kind of neat.
It transitions into this more peaceful like version of the game where you're not doing as much killing. I'm getting some bounties. I'm trying to like earn some money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It feels weird. I'm like in this place where I'm like, man, I'm broke right now, so I need to make some money. Maybe that'll help the story along. That's not going to help the story along. I don't know why, but that's how like it's cool how that like the game makes you feel that way, where
Yeah.
it's like, I can make a difference in the story mode by earning more money so I can pay for this ranch.
Maybe if I'm rich enough, all the potentially bad things in the story won't happen. uh, Funny story I want to share with you about the towards the end of this game. You've already passed this by a long mile, but it's like your last moments with Arthur, and you're like going to your last mission, and like it's
Yeah.
like the last one, and the
Music for
song.
the first time.
You're like, oh, the song with singing comes in. It's this powerful moment. You're supposed to take in
Yeah.
everything that's come before and embrace what's happening next. And I'm
You
riding along,
ran your horse over a cliff.
right, freaking into a
I knew
tree.
it.
I was like, let's do this. Oh! It completely killed
That's
the moment
perfect.
for me.
I wish you had been streaming back then.
I know.
You would have been like on a YouTube clip. Somebody would have cut out of you doing that.
My goal in life is to be on Perfectly Cut Screams. So if I'm on that Twitter channel, then all is well.
Okay, guys, we're getting here. We're getting to the last mission. Oh, this music's cranking up. Let's do this. Ah! So that didn't work out so well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I actually was thinking about that. When you're riding, there's like these bridges you cross. I'm like, it would not take much for me to just aim the horse a little bit too far to the side and just wham, my horse dies.
Yeah.
I die. Wasted. It doesn't say wasted, but it just says dead.
That is like a frustrating aspect of that game to me. Always has been that fact you can crash those horses quite easily, in my opinion.
And it feels sometimes like you're not aiming at that tree. It's like, I had it turned the other way and you still ran me into the tree.
It's like the horse is bent to like kill himself or something. You're like, why?
This is it. You need to pay for taking me through these trees.
Sometimes like, what did I hit? And I'm just like, oh,
a stone.
Yeah, oops, he stubbed his
Tripped
toe.
on a root.
Exactly.
So I've been watching a little bit more the third day. I kind of tailed off since I thought it was over and I came back. So
you're so
I've
satisfied.
watched the next episode, but I have 2 more to watch. It just, honestly, they're very heavy. So it's been a little hard. Like when I sit down and watch one, it's hard for me to just watch them back to back. They weigh on me every time I watch it. It's this strange mix of, and people who haven't watched the show won't quite know what I mean, but if you've watched the show like Jordan has, you definitely know what I mean. It's a strange mix of where I would definitely consider this a horror thing, but leaning more towards the thriller. But then at times it's just a straight up drama. It's such a strange thing.
Yeah.
It's like it goes from being genuinely a scary, gritty, sometimes really gross, like horror thing. Like I would say it's straight up horror at times, but not a lot. But it's just at times it feels very much a horror movie or mini series. But then at other times it gets right away from it, and it's just like, oh yeah, like mystery drama.
We're having some character moments here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much in the same vein sort of as The Wicker Man, the original, and the remake, where a lot of it is wandering around. What is this? This is crazy. Oh no, that's just that's just the thing. And you're like, but, and they're like,
yeah.
And then all hell breaks
just because I was so much younger back then, but or that this is so much more British than Wicker Man.
The remake of
more
Wicker
than
Man.
the Wicker Man.
The remake of Wicker Man. The original is very British.
Well, yeah, I mean the remake. That's the only one I've seen.
Okay.
But I enjoy this a lot more than the Wicker Man.
I could say this proof positive indeed that I definitely enjoy it way much more than the remake of Wicker Man. By far.
You like the original Wicker Man, was that right? I remember you talking about it.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like incredible, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. That's it for the most part. Honestly, every time we finish this, I go back during the week. I'm like, I forgot to talk about this. I forgot to talk about that.
I watched all sorts of crap.
But that's all I can think about right now. But I think we have some interesting things to talk about.
I agree. I mean, there's going into our topic, there's not there's not like too. We usually have our next gen update, which we'll give. There's not too much going on this week. I mean, right now, um, the
All
PlayStation.
the I'm blanking on the word. The embargoes have
Mm-hmm.
been lifted, so there's a lot of at least on the Xbox. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of like there's some PlayStation 5s I saw being unboxed.
Yep.
At least at IGN. I don't know. It
About
seems
to.
like
They
there's
can't unbox them yet from right now. They can just show the box.
yeah. But yeah, it seems like the Series X embargo's up and
Yeah.
everybody's just talking about everything. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it's about that time where it's just like, okay.
Yeah. Not too
Yeah.
much more news
We'll
to
have it opened
discuss.
in 2 weeks anyways. So
Yeah, the PlayStation 5 has a lot to discuss right now, kind of like to cover the same ground as like the Xbox has been covering for months at this point, not months, maybe like a month. But tomorrow is I think when the first embargo lifts. Today's Monday,
yep.
tomorrow's so by the time you're listening to this, you'll probably know a lot more about the PlayStation 5. But at this point, we're just kind of waiting on that. But one interesting little tidbit is that Destruction All Stars is the PlayStation 5 launch title.
Mhm.
Retail at $70. It's like the combat car smashing against each whatever. It kind of looks like Twisted Metal. That has been delayed to February
Mm.
2021 and will be
Mhm.
released as a PlayStation Plus game for
Mm.
their users. So it's kind of like a good news, bad news thing. It's of all the launch games of PlayStation 5, that's the one where everyone has like the most trepidation for. So it's probably
Yeah.
probably a good move. I have no idea what to expect from that game. So whatever. We're gonna be oh my gosh, thank you. Finally. Sorry, I got an email. Okay, this is really dumb and really stupid, but I don't care. I ordered back on where was it? It was like back in like early September. Like I ordered these Mario 35 anniversary pin set, which you had to like do a bunch of missions for, and you get them for free or whatever. I ordered it so long ago, and they just now shipped from Nintendo. It's the
Hmm.
nerdiest thing
Wow.
I can freaking talk about right now, but whatever.
Almost 2 months.
Yeah, it's a long time. Oh my god, I was like,
Yeah.
got him, great. Okay, but anyways, all right, cool. So yeah, Luke, what are we talking about today? We're talking about some games, right?
Yeah, I thought it might be cool to just kind of look ahead because I think a lot of people share in that feeling where we're excited for the next gen, like we've talked about. We're really
Mm-hmm.
excited because there's so much potential, but we're definitely super early days for both consoles, for both companies. And, you know, really, if you want to get excited about it, you really need to set your gaze, on the horizon. So
Yeah.
that's what I thought we would do. Kind of talk about what's to come in the more distant future, 2021, 2022, 2030,
That
you know,
sounds good.
some more reasonable things like that.
So the hype train is still moving full steam, but we have a new fuel source, basically.
Exactly.
Next gen hype train is still moving, new fuel. Let's
I
go.
think there's some things out there that are really exciting that I want to talk about, but also I think there's some things that I want to be announced that haven't been announced yet. And so, yeah, talk a little bit about that. But
Let's do it.
so I guess some of these Bethesda games, honestly, are like some of the first ones that come to mind for me. Like Elder Scrolls has always been something to me that like sets the bar for what it's kind of like a what's the CD Project Red game that's coming out?
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Kind of like Cyberpunk. CD Project Red really has kind of picked up the mantle where I feel like Bethesda, in some ways, has kind of dropped it because their development cycle is so long,
Yeah.
and I feel like there was a lot of things wrong with Fallout 4, and so it left a little bit to be desired, and what have they been up to now for a while? Hopefully, they're making the next Elder Scrolls game. I know they're making Starlink, whatever that is. I don't
Yeah.
feel like we really know. So, Starlink would be one of those ones that I would say it's the more near distant future in the spectrum of what we're talking about right now. It's probably coming out next year, maybe 2022, but I wouldn't think it would be any farther than that. And so that's exciting. And, obviously it's a little more relevant to Xbox now because of the
Mm-hmm.
acquisition. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things I'm excited in the distant future is Elder Scrolls 6, which has been announced, but I mean we know nothing. We know we know that it's coming. That's literally all we know. And you know,
Yeah.
Skyrim was just it was a game that like set the world on fire in 2007. It was just it was such a good game. And Oblivion before that, which was the first one that I got to play, was so good. It was, you know, it was a long time ago. You go back and play it now and it kind of looks like junk, honestly, but
Yeah.
back then it was just revolutionary. It was the same thing in 2001 with Halo. It was like they were doing things that just nobody had seen at that point. And Oblivion was opening up the open world in a way that was just blowing players away, and it was pushing other developers to do that same thing in the same way GTA 3 did back then. And so I'm super excited for that. That's like one of my biggest things. So yeah, just like CD Projekt Red, like
Mhm.
I get so excited for those games, but Bethesda's right there. Like those two companies are just, I'm so excited to see what they do next.
I
So
think everyone is there with you. I think everyone's appetite is just wet for freaking this new Elder Scrolls game. I mean, like,
yeah,
I still because it's on the Switch, I still play Skyrim here and there, and like going to it is like there's areas of that game that feel old, you know, just because it is old. It's very old, but like,
yeah.
but there's also moments where I'm just like, this, I can't believe it's this in depth. You know, I can't believe that I had this option. I can't believe that like there's so many items. You know, it's like stuff like that where I'm just like,
Yeah, 13 years ago too.
I know I still feel like, yeah, there's nothing that's come at this point where I'm like, oh, this is done this, but maybe done it better or anything like that. I just don't feel like we've gotten a follow up for that yet. I mean, like Fallout just feels so different from Skyrim in a lot of ways, and even though I know there's a lot, obviously tons of similarities, it's like the sci-fi Skyrim, but still
Hmm.
there's such a difference there. It still it feels like when you walk into the Skyrim world, you're like, wow, I could be so many different things. It's insane, and like, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm extremely excited for what the new Elder Scrolls has in store. And you know, the good news is you know, even if it's Starlink or whatever, it's kind of surprising that Bethesda has announced games like that as far out as they did. Usually, they're pretty good at being like, "Here's this game. It's coming out in you
Yeah.
know half a year or something like that." And you're like, "Okay, great, awesome." But here, it's like, yeah, hold on, everyone, we're getting ready. I guess maybe
Yeah.
they're pulling resources. I don't know, but yeah, I'm with you.
I was really hoping when Starlink got announced that it was going to be a little farther along. It has felt like as time, because that was, I believe that was the E3 before this year that they actually announced that.
Hmm.
So that's now, you know, been over what, E3's in, is it in May? Is that right?
Something like that, May, June, something, I don't know, somewhere.
June. Yeah, I think June. So it's now been a year and a half.
Hmm.
We really haven't gotten any new information. That seems like a long time. Um, yeah, I'm kind of ready for an update. You know, I'm ready for a trailer. I'm ready to like move ahead to like Bethesda's just it's they're a company that makes such interesting games that you know you're kind of chomping at the bit to get some more information about what they're doing, and they haven't provided a lot of that. So yeah, just kind of wondering
Hmm.
what's going on with that game.
Yeah, I mean, who knows when we'll get an update for that, man. Oh, it could be E3 next year by the time we get an update on that. And that seems kind of right. I mean, honestly, I think they're probably going to focus on Starlink. Next year is probably going to be
It's Starfield, isn't it?
Starfield.
I just found it in the
Starlink is
list.
the Ubisoft
Yeah, is
space fighter game. Oops,
that
like
right?
the toys to life.
That was completely my fault. I kept saying Starfield,
Whatever. That's
Starlink.
yeah, whatever. um, I'll throw one out there if it's cool with you.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy 16 is uh a game that is would kind of
Sorry.
primed. You're fine. It's primed. It seems to kind of almost do a new thing with Final Fantasy from what we've
Hmm.
seen. I mean, the fact that we
Hmm.
got a trailer with that looks like a game that's almost finished is crazy. People are saying like this game's coming out, like Square itself is saying this game's coming out sooner than we think, and it
So it
looks.
almost feels like they must have been working on two projects at once with this.
I think
You know, with the
so,
reboot of 7.
and it seems like they're going like kind of a different route than they did in Final Fantasy 15. Like, um, what
To me, this is more like the Starlink. That it's more like that kind of timeline in which I'm thinking it's going to come out, maybe
yeah.
even sooner. Did they show a trailer for it in that event?
Oh yeah, 15. It had
Yeah,
gameplay. It had a lot of cutscenes. It was a pretty like sizable trailer where you're like, wow, it
that sounds like maybe the fall.
could be like could be next year, could be soon after. I mean, I don't know. Either way, that's cool. It seems like from what I hear, they're going like a different route where a lot of people felt. Understandably so, and I think I'm in the same camp that Final Fantasy 15 overpromised and underdelivered, and they've kind of said with this one, it's like, look, we're not going to show you a CG trailer. We're not going to show you like what the game isn't. We're just going to, and like the game's in development, so it's probably going to look better than this, but here's the game.
Yeah.
It's coming. And so they're kind of going the other, like under promise and like, and hopefully exceed expectations. So
Mm-hmm.
that's very exciting for me. Final Fantasy, whenever a mainline Final Fantasy game comes out, it's always a exciting thing.
I need to correct something. I
Mm.
said Skyrim came out in 2007. It was Oblivion that came out in 2006. Shivering Isles came out in 2007. Skyrim came out in 2012.
Okay.
So it's 8 years old.
1 year after Scream 4. Got it. I base everything off of when
My
Scream
bad.
4 came out now, guys. But yeah, anything else, Luke? I mean, obviously anything else. What next? What's another thing?
There's so many,
There's so
honestly.
many.
That was like the big one.
Like looking at this list, I'm like, there's something I didn't even know about. Earthworm Jim 4? What the?
Yeah.
Who said anything about Earthworm Jim 4?
Obviously Halo is a big one for the Xbox
Oh
world,
yeah.
at least. You know, there's a lot of games that like Skull and Bones, games that we don't know where they're at.
Yeah.
There's closer games like Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, which probably is going to become, you know, like a trilogy or maybe even, you know, onward than that. So I'll be interested to see where that whole world goes.
Yep.
Like I said, I got to play some of it, and yeah, it's definitely interesting. I wonder if they're going to, I don't know, evolve the combat, which I think would be the biggest thing that I would be excited to see with that. I
Mm.
think the story part of it was really interesting, but the combat I thought was a little on the slower side. There were only like 3 different ways you could like hack. There wasn't really any like combo maneuvers you could do. There was like one block. It just, you know, it felt like okay, they put together a really cool game, but didn't spend a lot of time on the combat. So yeah, that would be an interesting one I would like to see. I would
Absolutely.
be interested to see now that they own ZeniMax if Quake might come back. That's a game that I feel like hasn't gotten a lot of attention. It is a what's the Doom guys? It's an id project, and if people want to rewind back to one of our very first episodes, that was 100 episodes back or whatever.
Like 70.
Yeah, that was one of the first. It was one of the first games I ever played. So that is a special place in my heart. You know, it was such early days for first person shooters that it was.
Yeah.
It didn't take a lot to impress me at that point, but I think there's a game that could be in there, especially in this new world of games as service as this huge piece of the market. Games like Overwatch and you know Fortnite have taken a huge chunk of the first person shooter market, and Quake very much could be. I really wouldn't want it to become a hero shooter, but it could be similar to that.
Yeah.
That was another thing I actually played this week. There's a new game that, well, it's not new. It came out like late in the summer. I'm completely blanking on the name of it, but It's basically you're in a group of 4, you jump in. Did you ever play in Halo 5? There was that mode where you would it was called like Outbreak or something like that. Rush or you would jump in, you'd have 1 life and you'd like have to
Yes.
go at the guys, either grab a flag or just like take out all the other guys and then you'd win and then there'd be a new one and you'd all jump in.
Yeah,
Did you ever play that
I think
mode?
I
So it's
did.
kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, there's a new game that came to game. Actually, no, it's a free to play game. And yeah, it's anyways, that game, whatever the name of it is, Rogue, like Rogue Group or
Oh, I know
something.
this. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I know exactly. I know what you're talking about. I don't know much about it, but yeah, this game's kind of let's see, come up
Seems
in
like it's getting
prevalence.
some pretty big attention.
Rogue
Yeah, I wish.
Company, right? Rogue Company.
Yeah, Rogue Company.
Hmm.
So yeah, I was playing some of that, and that just anyways, the reason I brought that up was just that kind of reminded me of maybe what Quake could do, but in more like bloody and Quake like railguns and
Yeah,
sniper rifles and bigger map and all the stuff that Quake does.
Quake is an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, like it has like the fan base to Quake is a hardcore. It's a
Yeah.
dedicated one, and they're mostly PC based, as far as
It's
it.
I think it's the fastest shooter that exists. You think Call of
Yeah,
Duty is a Twitch shooter, but Quake is insane. It was fast back then, and not as fast as it is now, just because I don't think the computers could handle it. But it's always been this like jump around, shoot each other as fast as you can, and like people explode into pieces and stuff. Kind of
it's
yeah, it's
crazy.
very much like a Doom cross between I don't know Fortnite or something, where it's like gritty but also like crazy twitchy. Very
It's
competitive.
very competitive. I mean, QuakeCon. I mean, come on. These people are
Yeah.
playing pro like hardcore for the longest time. It's still gonna be like, I'm sorry, I'm
So all that being said, I just I could see that being a cool Xbox slash PC exclusive for Microsoft, where
mhm,
they maybe put a little bit of Halo magic in there and put a little bit
you know.
of Gears tech in it, and because I think that's one area that Quake has always struggled is the graphics.
Oh
I've
yeah.
never thought that game looked great, and you could keep that same speedy combat, but also have the game look really good and have that 60 frames silky smooth gameplay and keep the heart of
60,
what is Quake.
120.
Yeah, I've heard people saying that you really aren't going to see the big difference between 120,
Yeah,
but it doesn't make me not want to play in it
it's kind of
just
telling. I
because
was watching a
fun.
the an overview with the guys at Microsoft. They did like an overview of like some of the games, and they were like talking about 120 frames. They were like kind of just off the cuff, and they were like, "Yeah, man, playing Gears 5 when it went to 60, I was like, wow, this is what in a world of difference." And then I going to 120. It was really cool. You know, it was kind of funny.
They said that was
Yeah,
great.
it was something along those
It was
lines
marginally better.
where they didn't say how much of a world of difference. And once you see it, it wasn't like that. They're just, wow, it was so awesome. You know what I mean?
I thought it might look a little better.
But yeah, it made me think of that.
He's
It's
like,
one of
turn
those
it on.
things.
I already did. No,
Ah,
seriously, turn it on.
exactly. I mean, 120, that's a cool concept, but 60 is great. 60 is really good. Get to 60, I'm pleased. 120, I like to see it, but
Yeah, I mean, why not? But if you can do it, go for it.
yeah, absolutely. Um, Looking at this list, some of these games are games that I'm like, I can't believe aren't out. Like games I've heard of for so long. But this game, we heard about this back in geez, I think like 2018 or something like that. Dying Light 2.
Yeah, I really thought that was out too.
I know I saw it on the list. I was like, oh, that's freaking right. That game
Got
doesn't.
delayed.
I don't. Yeah, it got delayed pretty
Must have.
badly.
Yeah.
I don't believe it has a release date like at all. So they had some pretty serious setbacks. Oh, I see. Ooh. Yeah, there's some bad stuff that happened with the team kind of behind the scenes, and
Hmm.
it some people had to step down, and so yeah, not great stuff, but That game looked interesting. So whenever we do see it, it's going to be interesting when like some of these games that were last gen games got delayed. Like, wouldn't it be weird if they just like came out in like 2 years, like in 2022? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, whole different world they'd be coming out to than the first one did.
when a game gets delayed too long, I don't. Sometimes that's
And
really
delayed like
damaging.
into the next gen when it was like planned for the end of the one gen. That's definitely a weird thing.
Remember Duke Nukem Forever? That's like one of the most long delayed games of all
Yeah.
time. Where
Hmm.
and it came out and it just bombed
Crazy
big
thing, it
time.
came out.
It is crazy that it came out at all, but it
Yeah.
bombed big time, and it was like spanned the course of an entire generation where it was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Golly.
One that we got teased in one of the Xbox showcases was Avowed by Obsidian,
Mhm.
and just for people who may not have been, I mean, shoot, there's possibility people may be listening now they've never listened to us. So,
Hello.
Obsidian Entertainment created uh, one of my favorite Fallout's, if not my favorite, New Vegas, and so they branched off. They had a contract basically with Bethesda at the time to use the name Fallout and create their own game, which was New Vegas. And that game came and went, and there really was no more Obsidian, Bethesda crossovers from, at least as far as I understand. And so Obsidian got bought by Microsoft, what, 2 years ago at this point,
Hmm.
and they've created the Outer Worlds, which I really enjoyed and talked about on this show. And so they're kind of they're AAA. They're a little lower than full AAA. They're not a Rockstar size studio, but they're a big studio that makes great games. And so they're coming out with what looks like, interestingly enough, a competitor really to Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
It looks very similar. It looks like maybe dragons, wizards, you know, almost like a Lord of the Rings style world. We only got that one trailer where
People
the arrows
shooting
passing
arrows into
through a world,
skeletons.
and then you see, like some magic ball appear or something at the end.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one, just from that enough, it was like, okay, it's going to be like Elder Scrolls. Sweet, let's do this.
Absolutely.
I hope it's more like Lord of the Rings maybe than Elder Scroll is, so it maybe sets itself apart a little bit, which should be cool.
Yeah, a little bit more whimsical. Yeah, I'm down for
Yeah.
that. I'm down for Obsidian just kind of trying their hand at it. And if they come up with something that like most people seem to like Outer Worlds more than Fallout 4, if they come out with something out of the gate that's like this is really amazing and just like even better than how Skyrim could have been, I don't know. Maybe that'll be awesome.
It's funny that you would say whimsical because in that same show we got shown a Fable trailer. So
Yeah.
it could be interesting that in the next 5 years, maybe less, we could have Fable, which is about as whimsical of a mystical,
Mhm.
um, world that we could get. And then you could have Avowed, which may kind of bridge that gap between Fable and Elder Scrolls. And then you could have Elder Scrolls. It would be like this crazy thing where like Microsoft hasn't had any of these kind of games. And now, we could have three of these games,
Yeah.
all made by big studios too. I'll say the guys who do the Forza Horizon series of games, which I think are some of the best first party games being made at Microsoft. I will say, and there's new studios, so we'll see how those turn out. But the Forza Horizon games are just amazing. I mean, they're car games, so I enjoy them because I enjoy cars, but not really my thing. But the fact that I was so impressed by a car game, to me, that really blows me away.
Yeah.
That it's like, wow, you did something well enough that you kept my attention with the car game. Because I've enjoyed Need for Speed. I've never really been into the super realistic driving games, but
Yeah.
anyways, they did a really
Forza
good job, and so
proper.
I thought that was the right team to try to take on Fable, because a lot of the stuff in Forza Horizon is kind of jokey and a little bit silly, and
Yeah.
I mean they have Rare in house, so maybe some of those guys can help out with the whimsical, silly stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like speaking of Rare, they just seem to be kind of every now and then just kind of sitting on them. I'm like, everyone just keeps wondering, and like I made like a list of some like sequels that haven't been announced, and I'm like, make it, Banjo Kazooie 3.
Yeah.
What do you? It was interesting. There was just a interview with Phil Spencer, and he was talking about how he like talking about like some kind of blind spots that Xbox might have, and he's like, we don't really have too many E for everyone games, and I'm like, dude, Rare, you have Rare,
Yeah.
make Banjo Kazooie 3. People who don't have Xboxes and only are like a Nintendo or PlayStation, they will buy a freaking Xbox for that. I mean, I would. I mean, I
They do
did
have
already,
some of
but
those games, but they're not big games. They're smaller, like Cuphead
yeah, absolutely.
size games. So
Ori, Will of the Wisps, but you want to come
yeah,
out with a big console seller, not like something where like, wow, I'm glad I have an Xbox. You know what I mean? Now I can play this, but
yeah,
get something like big like that.
something the kids who are like 5 to 9 are like,
hmm
oh, I want to play on that, Daddy.
But yeah, real quick though, bring it back to Fable 3. I mean, it's crazy because like all of a sudden, like Xbox became the console to have if you are interested in Western RPGs,
Yeah,
because it is more or less gonna own the market on the biggest Western RPGs there are, with Fable in that Obsidian game, and the next Elder Scrolls. Forget about it. That's crazy.
yeah, which is kind of right up my alley, honestly, because those have really been my two favorite
hmm
genres for a long time. First person shooters, which I would say Xbox has done that pretty well for a long time, and then
Yeah,
Western RPGs like Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Those, yeah,
and I
and
mean good
I
because
enjoyed Fable. I
yeah,
played.
you
I
beat
think I
it.
played at least the first two Fables, and yeah, really enjoyed them.
And you know what? Again, as I said, there's a thirst for this kind of thing because like this generation of gaming has been wonderful, like fantastic, but there has been a little bit of a void of that kind of fantasy RPG, I think, a little bit, where it's like we haven't really gotten
Definitely.
that much this generation. We've gotten, it seems, everything else
But
but that.
everyone's like, "Come on, where's Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
6?"
I mean, I understand these games would take a long time to make. I mean, even with
Yeah,
games like Fallout, like designing a world like that might be a little easier than designing a world like Fable, like getting those sort of assets into the game. Like here's a barren wasteland, and you have
yeah.
to make this lush valley and a mountain. That stuff's really difficult to make. And so yeah, hopefully we'll be getting it sooner than later.
So, this would be Fable 5
Oh, is it? Okay, I must have lost track.
if it followed the main line. So there's Fable the Lost Chapters, which really isn't another game. Then there's Fable 2, Fable 3,
Oh,
then
so
there's
there was already
Fable the
Fable 3.
Journey.
Fable the Journey.
So that is a main line. It came out on
Oh.
360 as a Connect title. So I didn't
Oh,
really
I
play
see.
that one, but
There was the canceled Halo, not Halo. There was the canceled Fable Legends.
yeah, Fable Fortune. Yeah, the free to play one.
Yeah. It was
Oh
like,
no, that was
oh, that
yeah.
one actually get
I think
released?
Fable Fortunes. Okay, yeah, Fable Legends was supposed to come out before that. They ended up, I don't know. They still had like that Fable Fortunes project going,
hmm
so they finished that and actually did release that. But yeah, the Legends never came out. I'm kind of glad. I really didn't think that game looked very good.
It's like the game that nobody wanted, where it's like,
Yeah,
no, no, we don't want this. Give us Fable. Like even like people who like
yeah.
tried to open their minds were like,
So yeah, it'll be interesting if it follows the wherever the story was at that point, or if it.
yeah.
I can only imagine, being that I guess if Fable 3 is actually the last mainline, it would have been 10 years ago at this point. I can only imagine they just move on. Just say,
Yeah.
hey, here's Fable. Let's
Just
start over.
here you go. Let's stop. Just stop. Let's go.
It'll be interesting how different it is, too. I mean, because this is not going to be Lionhead at all. This is going to be completely new,
Yep.
completely everything new. I wonder if any of those guys have come over. Did you know Danny Elfman helped compose for freaking Fable, Jordan?
Really. That's
Which is
great.
so cool.
All hands on deck, I guess. Um, Another big one that I feel like I need to talk about is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So this is the sequel to, this is kind of a weird one. Have you seen any of this, Luke, for Ratchet and Clank?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
This is more of a near future.
near
This is coming
future.
like the first half of next year.
Yeah, they said launch window, so this is coming soon, but we still don't know the release date. But
Yeah.
very exciting. Kind of strange though, because like most recent Ratchet and Clank game was kind of like it was based on the movie, which the game was like far more critically praised and far more successful than that movie ever was.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a sequel to that. It's a sequel to the last Ratchet and Clank game that came out. So interesting
Yeah.
kind of thing there. She's looking at stuff. Let's see what else we have for.
Yeah. There's not a lot of the large franchises that have a lot more announced at this point.
Yeah, we're gonna get Horizon at some point, but that's
Yeah,
obviously well
that's already
documented.
been announced. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of things have been announced. We don't really have release dates. So
yeah,
there's always like stuff by Kojima, like whatever in the
yeah.
world he's working on, because he's
Whatever it
going to work
is,
on some big thing. And
it's working on it
yeah,
right now. Apparently,
whatever Bungie's working on, that'll be another big one. Apparently they're coming out with something completely new,
stepping away
new,
from Destiny.
different from Destiny. And I'm sure Destiny will be continued to be supported for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, be interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, let's see. Kojima, yeah, who knows what he's gonna do? People want Silent Hill, but who knows? Who knows if
They're
that's ever
saying
gonna
there's an
happen?
untitled IO Interactive, which is the Hitman guys,
Hmm.
game coming. So I'll definitely be interested in that. We've talked about this before, how good I think the Hitman reboot is. So I think these guys have some mojo at the moment. And
Mojo.
yeah, when you have that mojo, I think you should try to pump out as many games as you can get. You know what I mean? There's like when Modern Warfare, like Modern Warfare 2 and 3 were all done by blanking on the name of the team, but they had just a dynamic team together, and they put together 3 great games. And same kind of thing with Bungie when they were doing, Halo 1, 2, and 3. They just like pump those games out, boys. Like when you got the talent there, those guys don't stay together.
Yeah.
It's just like a great band, it just this doesn't last. Like
No.
people who are that good and creative, like yeah. So yeah, IO Interactive, I think you guys are making great games. So I hope they,
Let's keep
I
it
love what
rolling.
they're doing with Hitman, but like maybe it's time you invest some of that talent into something new that maybe can blow up a little bigger than the Hitman franchise has.
Yeah. Studio where there's a lot of studios where it's like we don't really know what they're doing yet. They like either
Yeah.
just got done with something, like Naughty Dog. Like they're done for the most. They're probably gonna release some
Mm-hmm.
multiplayer for Last of Us Part 2, but other than that, who knows what they're doing
Yeah.
next? They're in a really weird spot where it's like it almost seems like both of their big franchises have wrapped, but we could easily see another entry in either, but it's definitely doesn't seem like that's the case from how those games kind of concluded. So I mean, it's going to be an interesting thing if they decide we're going to do a new IP. It's obviously exciting, but there's obviously probably a lot of fear when it comes to that too. Hope people love these characters as much as they love Ellie or Nathan Drake or Jack and Daxter. It's
Well, they did a good job of spinning gold out of nothing with those 2 games. So
they sure did. They have writers. They have writers for sure. Who else? There's a few like people out there who are just kind of like, what are you guys gonna do? What you guys gonna do?
yeah.
Rockstar.
Oh yeah,
We do
for
not
sure.
really know what Rockstar has in store for this gen.
I mean, we know GTA 6 is in store.
And hope, But
Well,
I mean, they haven't really said much about it though. And that being said, they haven't really said much about it. I mean,
I thought there was actually an image that came out
really?
from the next game.
Let's see what's been said about GTA 6.
I can pretty confidently say it's coming, but
yeah, of course, it'd be. There's no way, like, by hook or by crook, that game is being made.
It's just crazy to me that we're 7 years out and we're this like unconfident to where it's like it's coming out, right?
Yeah.
Right? Where
Well,
it's still the biggest game in the world. Like
Yeah.
it makes the most money of any game in the world.
They
And
have to wait. They're like, okay, whoa,
insane.
whoa. GTA 5 has to span 3 consoles. We have to have a release on all 3. So hold on.
Well, that's not even. They don't have to worry about that.
You don't have to wait very long. It's happening. That is
It's coming.
happening. Yeah, I mean, they could very well like do something like new, or like as I've always hoped for, go into one of their kind of forgotten franchises like Bully, and whip out a Bully 2 or something. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I wish that game could come out. I
Mhm.
hope it doesn't get in the way of GTA 6 though.
I have a feeling that the Harry Potter game is going to be as close to a Bully sequel as I'm ever going to get.
Yeah. I don't know. Never say never, Jordan.
Yeah, I love that game, and that game's awesome. But yeah, I mean, these games are it's like it's not the same anymore. Like, remember in PlayStation 2, they in PlayStation like yeah, PlayStation 2, they had 3 GTA games during that lifespan, and also Bully.
Yep.
It's crazy. And even in the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era, they
Yeah.
had
They were really pumping them out.
they had so many. They had 4, and they had all the expansions, and Red Dead
So
2.
different than it is now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's the fact that these games are just so big now and they just take so much time, or if it's they're like, well, we are still at the top 10 every single month. So why would we?
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
imagine if you came out with another game.
Yeah, I tried playing GTA 5 a little bit ago. There was something about it. I was just like, after playing like Red Dead 2, I was just like, man, this is for me, even though I'm playing the PlayStation 4 version or whatever, I'm like, it's showing its age to me. It's like I don't know
Yeah,
how
really.
much
Mm.
they're going to improve it with sending a
Yeah,
PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 game onto
yeah.
Xbox Series X and
It's hard
PlayStation
to
5.
imagine.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It does definitely feel like they're just investing so much into this game that's almost a decade old.
Do you feel the same
So
way with Skyrim though? Because you were saying you were playing it, and that's just about the same age.
100%, but it's almost because I feel with Skyrim, when I'm playing that, I'm like, wow, I can't get this anywhere else. With GTA, I'm like, I can play an open world game. It's not going to be as big, but at the same time, I can play games similar to this. I can play Red Dead Redemption 2 and be amazed by that game. But when I'm playing Skyrim, I'm like, this game is old as dirt, but wow, I'm doing some cool stuff that I don't feel like I can do in other games right now.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. That's just me. I mean, if you're connected to the online scene of GTA 5, you're playing a different game than everyone's played.
Yeah.
You're playing something.
Also, if you've spent a lot of money, I feel like you're playing a different game.
I've spent thousands
That's
of dollars on this.
that's one of those games where if you have a bunker and you can launch nukes and you have
Is that really a
submarines
thing?
and tanks.
Is that a
Yep.
thing? Oh my
Yep.
god.
It really is. You have all that. You because I remember it's been many years since I jumped in, but back then was when the bunkers were being released, and it was like, I'm not going to spend a bunch of money, and there's too many missions. I'm just not going to do all this to get all this, so I'm not going to get to experience that, unfortunately. So, yeah, there's some cool stuff. I remember. Here's a little story. So we
All
had
right.
talked about last week about how the internet can be toxic sometimes, and you in the past also have mentioned what we're talking about right now, where if you jump into a game, I think you were talking about DC Universe Online, where if you have not kept up with the expansion packs, you have not bought into this, you get left behind. Well, this is how all that toxicity of the internet, me being left behind because I didn't spend a lot of money, came to bite me in the butt in GTA 5. So I'm playing around and I'm just, I'm picking up some stuff. I'm robbing the gas station. I'm doing, you know, simple jack basically stuff
Yeah, of
inside of
course.
GTA 5.
Stuff we were doing like
Stuff that I
8
look
years
like
ago or
an
whatever.
idiot to all the people. So, yeah, this guy has the freaking DeLorean from Back to the Future
Yeah.
in the game, which is a very expensive car in that game. It's like over $1 million, and it can just fly all over the place, wherever you want to go. So what he was doing was he would fly up to a high spot, and then he'd snipe me in the head. And then I'd die. And then I'd respawn, and then he'd find me, and he'd snipe me in the head. And he did it over and over. And I tried shooting rocket launchers at him. I tried everything I could.
Oh my
Now, obviously, I
God.
could have just turned on like the passive mode and moved on with my life. But no, I was going to have my revenge. I never had my revenge.
No, you didn't, did
I
you?
died over and over again.
He just
It's like
smelled
you
new
said
blood.
about-
He was like, I smell fresh meat or whatever.
It's like you said with jumping into Fortnite and people being awful and saying terrible things. It was that, but he never spoke to me. He just emotionally rocked me over and over again.
Just a cold presence looming over you.
I could see his little red dot move on the map, and I'm like, he's coming.
Oh my God.
The Slayer is coming.
Dude. It's like
It's so annoying.
it's like you're filled in a world where everyone is the Joker. When you go into GTA,
Yep.
you're like, wow, this is a hellscape.
Yeah. Everyone is that one standing on the car, and everyone's like, yeah.
Get that new player. Yeah,
But
get
somehow
him.
everyone's that.
Wow.
I thought of another thing. So another franchise that I look forward to whatever they're going to do next, because I feel like they've gotten to the end, is Tom Clancy. So Tom Clancy is a bunch of games at this point. It's
Yeah.
Rainbow Six, it's The Division, it's Ghost Recon, which are all games I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Six has always had a special place in my heart. So this is Ubisoft, obviously. So a big company that spans a lot of different games. But yeah, I don't know where they're going next. So the only game that I know of right now that's announced for Tom Clancy series is Rainbow Six Quarantine, which from what I understand, it's kind of like Squadrons is, the Star Wars Squadrons game. At least, I don't know all the details. I'm not even looking in front of it. I'm literally looking at a list that says Rainbow Six Quarantine. So I'm trying to go from my memory here. My understanding is that this is more of like a survival game where you and 3 other people have to survive like waves of zombies or something like that. But I'm sure there's going to be more to it. There's probably going to be a multiplayer element. That's what Rainbow Six has done so well with Siege. But I feel like those guys understand that at some point you can't just keep making new operator packs for Siege. You have to try to find the new thing. In the same way, I think Bungie's trying to move on from Destiny. Both of those games are like I'd say one of the 2 like top games as a service right now, where they just have this ridiculously long life from their original game. So all that being said, I really enjoyed Rainbow Six. Ghost Recon, not Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell.
There you go. Not at all. Ghost Recon Wildlands was a terribly enjoyable game for me. I did not even buy the sequel, which I am blanking on the name. It had the guy from Walking Dead as the main character.
Yeah.
In the game. But it got such bad reviews. That's one of those games for me where it just got such bad reviews. It just soured my excitement for it. And I was just like, am I really going to waste $60 on a game that's getting like 50s or below?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. So yeah, that's one that in the more, maybe distant, maybe medium future, I want something to announce. Like I want a Ghost Recon Wildlands 2. That's what I really want. Because Wildlands was the thing. It was a game where they kept updating it. They put freaking Predator in there. They put what's the guy with the 3 lights?
Yeah, Sam Fisher.
Sam Fisher, yeah, they put Sam Fisher in there. They had these such cool like side missions that just after you finish the story mode, there was still a lot of cool things to do. So yeah, that was such a cool game. And of course, I think it'd be cool if they came out with a back to basics Rainbow Six game where you have a story mode, you have a team, you move through a story like Rainbow Six Vegas. These games that most fans of first person shooters remember fondly, and would love them to do something cool like that, bring it back, bring a new story in. But yeah, I really enjoyed The Division. Those Tom Clancy games, I think they've done a lot of good things, but
I forget
feel
that was Tom
at this
Clancy.
moment.
That's right.
What was it?
I forgot that was Tom Clancy. Is that right?
The Division.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. It is too.
Tom Clancy's The Division.
Huh, yeah.
Yeah, so, um, yeah, it felt like The Division kinda came to an end with 2.
Yeah.
It felt that way to me.
They had a
They hadn't
big
had another
DLC they just
announcement.
released, right? Did that just
Oh,
happen?
really?
Did
Just
it? I
recently?
don't know. I was asking. I don't really know. I remember hearing
Yeah, I know
something
they
about
did
it.
have a big one where it, like, added a bunch to the end game. I never actually finished that, and I didn't find it as intriguing as the first game. But yeah, I'll just be interested. We're just talking about, distant future things, so that would be one I would be interested to see what Ubisoft
Yeah.
does with just the Tom Clancy license in general, because they have so many, spidering different pieces of Tom Clancy that just are cool in and of themselves. I mean, they feel like different games, really. Just they just share the Tom Clancy name.
There's one that I forgot about. I'm sorry. With we were talking about Rare and what they're doing. I'm pretty sure this is them, right? But yeah, Everwild.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
rare thing. So I was like, what are they doing? They're sitting on their
Yeah.
hands. Oh
That's what they
no,
had said in the thing. Like, this is what we've been working
they
on,
have
or
a big
whatever.
old IP coming out, new IP. So I mean, it looks good. I'm definitely interested. Definitely gonna check it out when it comes out. But
It's one I want to know what the gameplay is going to be like.
we haven't seen it, have
That
we?
trailer doesn't tell you at all what it's going to play like. It's an
No.
art piece basically.
Sorry. Yeah, it really is. I mean, it looks like in an engine. It looks very nice, but I have no, there. It says trailer and gameplay. I'm like, no, it's not at
Yeah.
all. Yeah. So, huh. Let's see. Is there anything else you want to bring up here?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming up,
Obviously,
but I think
tons.
there a lot of the stuff is more recent future, and I
Yeah.
was kind of aiming this to the more distant future. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we've covered the big ones that we're excited about for now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we'll keep an eye out. I think there's a lot of things that I think are coming that we don't even know about yet, that are just
100%.
not announced, that to look forward to. Yeah.
There's a couple things I wanted to bring up of some franchises I'd like to see on this next generation. I'll just rattle off really quickly. This is a sports game, esport, extreme sport that I enjoyed. SSX, that
Hmm.
franchise kind of fiddled out, and I think that game
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Tricky
Awesome.
too.
Yeah. I mean, it would just look amazing, I think, on next gen consoles, and also just
Yeah.
because it can like load in areas quicker. I think it would just, oh my god, I
You
think
could
that
have
would
a
look amazing,
massive open world. You're up in the
massive.
Swiss Alps going crazy.
You have
That'd be
choices to
awesome in
make. It's
VR. You'd get super sick, but it'd be so
you get
cool.
sick as can be. um, I think Sucker Punch, they just finished obviously with Ghost of Tsushima. I think they just released their DLC, which
Yeah.
I'm waiting till PS5 to actually jump into. But I want them to go back to Infamous at some point. That
Yeah,
they're
you
the
do.
ones who brought that one. I love that game, so I think that'll be awesome. Konami, they're not doing anything. They're like making pinballs or whatever they're doing. So I'd love.
It seemed like they've been doing much lately.
No, I half expect
Was it like
any day
Resident Evil
now.
remake? Was that their last big thing?
No, that's Capcom.
Oh, Capcom. Okay.
Their
Yeah.
last big thing with Konami was they put out that Metal Gear Survive, and everybody hated it
Oh, yeah.
because Kojima wasn't involved, and also it sucked apparently. So, yeah, they're just not doing anything. They have all these properties like Castlevania and Metal Gear and Contra and all that stuff like that. They're just
Yep.
everyone's just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just waiting. One of these days, it's either going to be Sony or Microsoft or some other company be like, "Oh yeah, we bought Konami," or
Yeah.
probably not buying Konami, but probably buying their IPs because there's you wouldn't buy Konami because
Don't they do like
too
a
much.
bunch of different
They
things in
do a
like
bunch of different
Japan?
things. Yeah, they own like
Make refrigerators or something?
yeah, you wouldn't buy Konami. You'd buy their IPs. No
Yeah,
way.
you wouldn't want to manage those businesses.
Oh crap! I have to make medical
Yeah.
equipment now.
We make sheets. No.
Oh, shoot. I just wanted to make another Castlevania game. Control 2. I want that to come. I mean, they're still putting out DLC for the first one, but somewhere down the line, I think that game would make a great sequel, even though they're making some stupid business decisions recently with their next gen upgrade. But whatever. I that game is awesome, and I'd be all for a second one. You should play. You should try that game out at one point. You talking about long games? This is a game you could finish.
I was looking up Konami. What game?
Oh, what is Konami working on?
What game were you talking about?
Control. I want there to be a control.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should check out check out the
I
first
wouldn't be
one.
surprised. I mean, it won Game of the Year from IGN last year.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, it's a Konami. What are you doing? Sorry, but yeah, I definitely like give it a shot, because that thing is like it's to the point. It's short. It's weird. The story's really weird, but the gameplay is so solid, like
Yeah.
so freaking tight and solid. It's so good.
Like some floating and flying and
Wow.
crazy
Zipping
action.
on,
Yeah,
throwing crap.
I've watched
shooting.
some streaming of it. Cool.
Yeah, and it sucks because that they're putting such a giant paywall behind the next gen version, because like the game would look amazing, like even like when it's in complete 4K with, you know, maybe some ray tracing. Yeah, man. Oof. But whatever,
Here's
man.
what Konami owns: Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania, Contra, Frogger, Gradius, Yu-Gi-Oh, Suikoden, Pro Evolution Soccer, so PES, Dance Dance Revolution, Beat Mania, Bomberman, Adventure Island, Bonk, Bloody Roar, and Star Soldier. Those are the big ones.
Yeah. I mean, got the card games.
Got to be probably one of their bigger like money makers, because I've heard that's super popular in Europe.
Oh, really? Still, wow. How about that?
I think that's even more popular than FIFA is over there.
Dang. Huh. Interesting. But anywho, I mean that's pretty much all I got. There's a few other ones I'd love to see happen, but we're talking like stuff that hasn't even been hinted at. No one's even talking about it. I don't know, but the future is wide open, man, because there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Okay. Copyright struck. Disney's coming after us. Jeez, Konami. Web searching Konami is a strange thing. All the things that come up.
This is what comes up when you ask, why did Konami stop making games? Konami has decided instead of making expensive AAA games for console and PC, they will instead make cheaper, more profitable mobile games and pachinko machines.
Get out of here, Konami. Just give... You're like holding on to all this stuff that we want, but you're like, we're not going to do that. Give them to someone else. And I think that's going to happen. That's got to happen. Give them to a third party. Give them to Capcom. Come on.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania, Contra, like you said, like they could make some really cool games with those. Microsoft could make some really cool games for those.
It could really happen. I mean, they're talking about another.
I think Sony would be. They would be pretty upset to lose those. Those have been some big PlayStation franchises in the past.
Yeah, to lose Metal Gear and Silent Hill specifically. Yeah. Those were ones that were like started on PlayStation, so they would be very well. For the most part, Metal Gear Solid. I know there was Metal Gear on Nintendo and on like some computer entertainment system, whatever. But either way, yeah, those are their babies. They'd be very upset if they went ahead and swooped up their IPs. And no one's buying Konami, but if they're like, and now we own Metal Gear, we own Silent Hills, we own Castlevania, it's like
I wonder if they would sell though. Like, I don't know.
If what?
They're not using them. It's like, what are they going to make their mobile games about if they can't make it about those franchises that they own?
They're not making it about them now. They're making like slot machines or something.
Well, yeah, the pachinko machines, but I would assume that those mobile games they're making, right, are using those IP names, right?
Not that I've heard of. I haven't heard that they're making.
I'm not up on the mobile.
I'm not.
Yu-Gi-Oh
to
games.
Be fair, I'm not. They can have Yu-Gi-Oh. They can keep that one. It's fine. Keep putting it out the way it is, but give it like even
you don't
like
want a Frogger Silent Hill mashup, Jordan.
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, honestly, the big ones are obviously Metal Gear, and Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill. I mean, no one's done anything significant with Contra in so long. They came
Yeah.
out with this one weird
But it's
game, and it's
such a
awful.
recognizable thing that
It is. It was.
I think you could, and people would be excited.
Yeah. Yeah. If they did something with it, if they actually did something cool with it, absolutely. But we haven't seen anything cool from Contra since like the 8-bit and 16-bit era, and so
Yeah.
we're a long way from Contra. Even though it's been recent since we've had Metal Gear. It's crazy. Metal Gear 5 was such a big game. It's crazy that it's just, oh, poof, it's gone.
Yeah. Well.
What Metal Gear?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, that's what Kojima. I mean, that's what happened there.
yeah, he was in a position where he was pretty much
Metal Gear.
was Konami's games. Like even he was going to make the Silent Hills with freaking Guillermo del Toro, and those connections just followed him to Death Stranding. It's just
The way he makes games, though, is it's hard for it to be very sustainable. He spends so much money, he has such a big vision, and I don't know that his games are big sellers. You know, they're games that are celebrated and enjoyed by a lot of people, but they're not. You know, they're not the kind of games where you're making like GTA money. You're not making Call of Duty money. So
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
no, it's off and on because like sometimes I think it was a big risk for him to do Death Stranding, and that game sold well, but nowhere. I don't think it sold as much as they were hoping. Phantom Pain did quite well, enough to where it's like it definitely justified its release and everything, and it was a success. But it's off and on with him. He's such an artiste that
but each time he's
comes and
asking for
goes.
more money, so it's like
Yeah.
it's hard for it to be sustainable at the level of budget that he wants to spend.
Man, if he could have just done, like, honestly, like, there's no way if he were to do Silent Hills, there was no way it would have been as expensive as Death Stranded ended up being.
Yeah,
You can't do a sprawling Silent Hills game
yeah,
and it still be scary.
it wouldn't be scary.
No. I can just run away from these freaking demons or whatever it is.
I don't know. You might trip.
Oh, it's true. I might trip, fall down the hill. Oh no,
Remember
I
those
have to
balance mechanics.
carry all this freaking cargo. Oh man, I make fun of that game a lot. Anyways, all right. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's that's not it, but
There's always more.
there's always more. That's all we're gonna talk about though. So yeah. What are we gonna do next week, man? It's right now. When you're listening to this, we are 2 weeks away from the launch of the Xbox Series X and S.
Insane.
That's crazy. So it's almost strange.
The ground is nearing. We're falling. We're feeling the wind whipping through our hair.
This is it. Hold your breath. I keep wondering what we're gonna do that Tuesday because it's gonna be weird. People are gonna be like, "What?"
I'm blowing this
Just
up. It's not that
scream.
big a deal. I mean, it's exciting, but I'm making it such a big thing.
It is, and people listen to podcasts like this to escape a little bit. We can make it the
In
biggest
reality,
deal of all time.
my life is not going to change much at all. It's just going to be like, oh, my games look better.
Wow, my games run and look so much better. Wow. All right, now time to pay my bills. Yeah, or have a
But we're
child.
still excited despite that.
Or have a baby child.
That little thing.
Maybe that. Oh yeah, that thing.
You'll be
name
enjoying
you.
this for years to come.
Yes, my son. I will. He'll be called Series G.
Series G.
Series Glover. You won't. Anyways.
That's great.
We'll figure out what to do because that Tuesday is going to come and some people will have their Xbox on that day and we probably won't because we're getting them shipped. It's just going to be one of those things. So I don't know. We could just celebrate.
Well, you're picking up your game. What's the name of the? I keep wanting to say GameSpot. Game.
I'm going to GameStop to pick up mine.
You're going to GameStop, right?
But that's
you didn't have them ship it, right?
No, not for my PlayStation, but my Xbox
Yeah.
Series S will be shipped via Target.
So did they say show up in the morning or something for your PlayStation?
I don't know yet.
It'll be ready in the morning there.
They don't know exactly what they're doing yet. I talked to someone over the
Come
phone.
on.
I know.
2 weeks away.
I know. I talked to someone over the phone. I was like, "Are you guys doing a midnight thing, or what? Are you guys opening early?" They're like,
Yeah.
"We don't know." They said
Oh
literally,
my
"We don't
God.
know yet. Call us maybe like the week of or the week before." And I was like, "Holy crap, man!" So we'll see. So I might have it on Thursday. I mean, I'm definitely gonna have it on Thursday, but I don't know what time. But the Series S, it's either gonna be that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's kind of up in the air, with that as far as shipping goes. Right
Yeah, I
now,
still have these same messages from Amazon and Best Buy. It's just like,
yeah.
we'll let you know.
Yeah, Target says like between the 12th and whatever. So, no, between the 11th and let me see.
Oh, really?
It says. Yeah, right now it says pre-order estimated November 11th through the 16th. So it could be anytime between
Amazon says we will email you, and Best Buy says we will ship it by release day.
that. Okay, well that's at
Not
least comforting
helpful.
to know that they'll ship it by release date. I mean, I guess.
At least Target gave you a window.
Yeah, it's helpful. That's definitely helpful. I mean, it's kind of stressful at the same time. I mean, like, I don't know how you do it because I'm not going to have them leave it on my doorstep and me be like
Yeah.
at work. Oh crap! I'm sorry, I gotta work the rest of the day. Like, no, I want to be there, or at least
Yeah.
be close behind when they drop it off. I don't know.
Well, I can always go over there and get it for you.
Yeah, I might ask you to do that if I'm
Yeah.
in a position where I just can't.
But
Otherwise,
I
I
might be
might.
off work.
Yeah, because I was thinking about maybe taking a day off that week. So hopefully it's delivered on that day, but
Yeah.
who really knows, I guess. Because it'd be awesome if it was Wednesday, because obviously you want it as soon as you can, but
That's for sure.
who knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for that offer. I'll let you know about that. But anyways, yeah, we'll find cool stuff to do to celebrate next gen, even if we're not like, hey, we're here reporting on Tuesday the 10th. And we have our Xboxes in hand or whatever, so we'll have some fun.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah. But we have 2 more weeks till that. Until then, yeah, we'll have a happy and safe Halloween. I can't imagine you're doing too much. But whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
be safe and enjoy yourself.
Offering some kids candy if they come.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. Leaving the bowl out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on right now. We didn't buy any
Spray 'em
candy.
with bleach in the face as they come up.
Oh yeah, classic move. Get clean you.
Here's your bleach.
Oh, thank you for cleaning my children. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week.